Wait, nope, I was gonna talk about NCT. Honey, no, we let too much slide with NCT. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. First of all, I don't even know how I did not notice this with Limitless. There is so much appropriation with Limitless. And that was strike one right there. That was strike one. Yeah, that like these styles are basically like trying to mimic black people's styles, and we let this slide. Yep, we let them get away with a lot. We did. So let's talk about the song Boss. The song Boss was actually written by a black producer. Her name is Tiffany Red. She's very talented. And she's very pretty because I'm like, I know I've seen this girl before somewhere. But yeah, you can go follow her at I'm Tiffany Red on Instagram. She's very talented. So she wrote the song Boss, and apparently she had only made $66 from it. And mind you, let's look at how many views it has now. The music video has 141 million views as of today. So you mean to tell me a song that was a hit like that, they're doing stages, they're doing events, somebody's making money out of this deal. And it's usually not the idols because the companies are too busy stealing their money. So that means somebody's making the money, and it's usually the CEOs of the company. So you mean to tell me the song got that big and all she made was $60? If you notice in the K-pop industry, this actually happens a lot. They find ways to not pay people. They don't pay their stylists because they can say, oh, it's passion pay. And say, well, we just want to make sure you don't want to be around the idols. You actually love what you're doing, right? With the music, not only are they stealing the music, but they also gyp the producers and the writers of the music, which sometimes can include the idols. Sometimes idols get to write their own music. Sometimes, not a lot of times. So basically, the whole music industry is just shady. But the K-pop industry, honey, takes the cake because they are robbing everybody blind, including their own idols. The only people that's really making money from it is the CEOs of these companies. And considering that JYP has constantly been involved with using blackface and other artists using blackface, that already tells me everything I need to know there. These same people will copy black music but will not sign a black artist. But don't you want the real thing? If you want black culture, why don't you put black people in it? But the truth is, again, racism is the reason why they would rather have a Korean mimic black culture than to have an actual black person in it. Because an actual black person in K-pop is not going to sell. Girl, and I didn't even want to talk about how they did Alex Reed so dirty. They did that girl dirty. They did Michelle Lee dirty, and she was actually Korean. But that just shows really how anti-black that country is. It's almost like America in 1950. There's actually places that say no blacks. So again, these things they find normal, but it's not normal to us, and that's probably why the things they're doing is so offensive. But the fact that they don't find blackface offensive, that's a problem. That's a problem for me. That's a problem, and that already kind of tells you a lot of what you need to know. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cut to the trash apologies we've gotten this year, honey. So basically, I'm gonna spill the tea from A to Z. So let's get into it. Let's start with A to Z. So Hongjoong had got into a controversy for wearing cornrows. Basically the company issued a trash apology, and I'll go over that later when I talk about the trash apologies. The company basically said that we've already taken the pictures, we can't edit it out, and then the stands were trying to show like, hey, you can't actually edit it out, but the company didn't take the time to do it, so we're kind of stuck with it. Again, these aren't even done right. We're not even gonna talk about Zico. We already know what that is. No. Yeah, and these again aren't even done right. Like the parting is horrible. It's just kind of like a bad wig. I don't know where he was going with that. Okay, but let's go back though, see, because now I gotta roast him. Like, Tanyang, what is this? Why do these look like French fries? Why, you got French fries on your head? Boy, you need some water because these are so dry. Oh my god, these are so dry. You know, you need some oil sheen. I put some oil sheen on that. And see, this is why this is just so disrespectful, because it's like y'all not even doing this right. Like, if you first of all, black people are not a cosplay. Okay, let's start there. And if you're gonna try to copy our style and our hairstyles, like, do it right. And I don't know what Kai got going on here. I don't know even what you call these. Because these are not these are not dreads. These are not dreads. And J Park, what are those? What are those? No. And then I read an article where obviously J Park did this style and got, you know, backlash for it. And he tried to compare liking K-pop to appropriating a culture, which is strange because let's just forget this hairstyle is appropriating black culture. What is this? Like, it just looked like he just took some gel and gelled it up. Those are not, what are those supposed to be, locks? Is that what you're trying to do? Mimic those? No, Jay. Like, that's how I know you don't have no real friends, because if I was your friend, I would have told you, no, do not go out the house looking like that. But somebody let you go out the house looking like that. And that's a shame. You were too fine, and then your hair gonna look like that. No, baby boy. No. So we're gonna talk about the trash apologies that they've given us, like, after doing something racist or culturally appropriating us. So there's a lot of videos, of course, of Namjoon and Wendy, like, making fun of black people. So they basically just think that we're just ignorant and we're gangsters. We just gonna wrap that up. And guess what? I mean, if you grow up in Korea, guess what? You're probably not gonna meet a black person. So that is ignorance. What's funny is a lot of these K-pop stars grew up in America, and they're very well aware of the things black people go through in America. They just don't care because they are very anti-black. And Asian people are usually used against us in America, so they use the model minority myth to use against us. So sometimes they might actually think, oh, we're better than black people. So we gonna start with Sun E. So basically, he made a song about how, I guess, somebody called him a yellow monkey. Okay. First of all, I don't even believe that actually happened. You know why I don't believe that? Because black people do not refer to Asian people as yellow. When we refer to somebody as yellow, we mean light skin. We don't mean Asian. White people do that. They started referring to Chinese people as white when Chinese Americans immigrated here. But then they started calling them yellow because they didn't want them to start believing they were equated with white people. So when white people do it, yes, they mean it to be derogatory. When black people do it, we don't. And yellow monkey, that does not sound like something a black person would say. Not that I want to really discredit him, but I'm just like, we don't say that. So when we say yellow, we refer to a light-skinned black woman. So no, I already don't believe that. I just feel like this was really his excuse to be racist, honestly. And then, of course, we got this lame apology. I used the N-word in the song called Pride 8 years ago. I sincerely apologize for what I wrote, and I'm ashamed of it. It was very ignorant and immature. I'm sorry to the people who might have felt disappointed, offended, upset, and hurt. There's no excuse for it, and this will never happen again. I cannot say enough how truly sorry I am. Well, the reason why I don't find this apology sincere is I'm sorry to the people who might have felt. See, that already got me. A narcissistic apology is usually, I'm sorry that you felt that way. So he didn't mean that. All of these apologies are really trash. They need to just start cutting checks to black causes. That's what they should start doing. Start donating to Black Lives Matter, black colleges. You know, since you love black music, black culture, start collabing with black artists. Because I just find it funny how I don't ever see them doing that. And no, we're not talking about J Park. J Park is over here. He's still not exempt, but he moves a little differently, and I'll explain that a little later. They're saying he's gonna post this picture on Instagram, right? Basically making fun of what's his name, 69 and 6ix9ine, whatever his name is. He said these are the ugliest things I've ever seen. And then he compared them to, what are these things called? These little straws of Cheetos. You know what's funny though? These styles are so ugly, but yet they keep trying to copy them. That's what I'm not. That's what I'm not understanding. But anyway, we're gonna move on to Hwasa. Hwasa, what did she do, girl? Spill the tea. Whoa, okay, the use of the N-word. Now that's a no-no. And you know how I know Koreans know what the N-word means? It's because they have their own word. They call each other kamdingi. That's basically the N-word in Korean, and it's a derogatory term used against people with darker skin. So they know very well what they're doing, because if they have their own version of the N-word, they know what the N-word means, and that's why they laugh every time that they do this, because they know they're not supposed to say it. Not to mention it has a very ugly history behind it, and they probably don't even understand that history. That's why I believe Korea should have African American studies, because woo, the ignorance is real, honey. Not to mention she also had a blackface incident. That's considering that Beyonce didn't even say the word in the song she was singing. That's very interesting. I mean, I just really don't understand why they can't just be proud of their own culture. Is there something about Korean culture they don't like? Like, you know, is it not cool? It's not cool to be Korean? I guess not, but it's cool to be black until you actually start getting treated like a black person. That's not cool no more. That's not cool. Oh my god. And then not to mention the do-rag. Hyunjin from Stray Kids. Apparently he had a blackface incident. Oh, no, honey. I cannot express the importance of knowing what blackface means, because it is so derogatory. It has such an ugly history and such an ugly meaning. I just believe that he probably really didn't know, because like I said, blackface is so normal in Korea. That's like something they don't even really see as a big deal. And it's just funny because they're just making fun of people they never even met. They're just, again, copying whatever they see in American media. That's just already scary. Like, you don't have a mind of your own. You don't want to think for yourself. So then they gonna post this trash apology. I don't want to read the whole thing. I'm just gonna post it. So we do our best to become better Stray Kids. See, I don't want to understand Stray Kids, because the moment Felix do something racist, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But we gonna move on. World, what did EXO do? And I didn't want to roast EXO, but there's a lot of cultural appropriation with EXO, honey. Chin, they were playing a game, and basically, like, the loser, they had to paint their face again, do like the black face. Because you have to keep in mind that in Korea, like, having lighter skin, it means something a little bit different, but kind of the same. It means like you're more rich compared to the workers who are out in the sun and they would get tan. So this is why they desperately like try to look white, but even in the industry, the idols were told to try to look as Caucasian as possible so they would be more marketable. You can look as Caucasian as you want to, honey, but you still Asian. It don't matter. It goes for the same with black people. You could be as light skinned as you want to be, honey. You are still an N-word to them. It does not matter. It does not matter. I could explain to people how I'm half German all day long. It does not matter, because you were black before you anything. They don't feel their own culture is marketable. And I believe racism could play a part in that too, because they are Asian. So yeah, they gotta work hard too. They're just copying black people. So when you're praising these idols, you're praising black people. That's all you're doing. This is just really making me upset. It's just so hard to love a genre of music where the people don't even like you, and they're blatantly copying your culture and profiting off of it. But when you try to immerse yourself in that culture, you get excluded from it. See, and this is a problem. Until EXID. So what is her name? LE. See, I don't always learn their names because like groups come and go, so I don't really be standing them that hard. So I'm guessing her name is LE, right? And she said the N-word on television, and everybody thought it was funny. And this is why I say they laugh after they say it, because they know exactly what they're doing. That's why they're laughing, because they know they're not supposed to say it. Just like you're not supposed to say, you know, other bad words, and you laugh about it because you know you're not supposed to say it, but you know what it means. right? Ooh, I'm getting fed up. I'm getting fed up. But again, if you look at EXID, a lot of their music, you can tell, comes from Black culture. Especially like the brass sounds that comes from jazz. Black people invented jazz. And last but not least, Amber from FX. I used to love this group actually. I felt like they were very underrated. So I'm not even gonna watch that clip again because the first time I watched it I got so upset. And I don't want to speak out of emotion. But when I first, the initial time I saw that video, it really threw me back. Because I believe she was in Korea when she said this. She also grew up in America, and this is why I say American Asians, they know very well what it's like for Black people in America, because they grew up in America and they experience racism in America, but not as bad as Black people do. And I just felt like it was just so many things wrong. Let me see, where do I begin? Okay, let's start with the fact that Amber has tried to appropriate Black culture. She is influenced by Black culture. Her rapping is very ABC 1 2 3 to me, but a lot of idols are like that. I mean, because again, what are they gonna rap about? Like being from the hood and going through struggles with the police. Like, what are they gonna rap about, really? So I let the ABC thing go. So I never really found her astonishing as a rapper, or she's supposed to be the rapper of the group, right? But I thought she was kind of cute. Something about her always kind of turned me off, though. And this is probably why. So the tone, she saw the video, and the tone of her response was already wrong. This is a very anti-Black response, and people don't realize, like, I can read it between the lines. You don't always have to say the N-word, white power, to be racist. It's just stuff like this. When you justify police murdering Black people, it's because people are conditioned to believe that the police are heroes and that Black people are already criminals. So her response already lets me know she has this bad prejudgment about Black people. She had already believed the dude was guilty, right? Also, I mean, it's just so crazy because white people have this idea and Asian people have this idea about us. So they almost think identically. And that's scary because one is a minority with no power, no privilege. So they in the same boat as us, but looking down. The problem with her response too was, I could tell she doesn't have any Black friends. She has no Black people that she cares about, because she would have been a lot more empathetic to the situation. And if I was her friend, I would have told her not to say something stupid like that. Considering that she did grow up in America. And she's in Korea, so Korea is also very anti-Black. So either way, she can't tell me she didn't know. And then we're not even going to talk about how she retracted what she said, because basically what she was saying was she believes that Black people are criminals and that we should respect the police and they might not harm us. The whole quota of the police is to kill as many Black people as possible, specifically Black men. I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know what world white supremacists live in where it's just going to be white people. Because then who they gonna hate on? What would their music sound like? Who they gonna steal from? Who they gonna swear up and down they so much better than? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. And the ideology of white supremacy is only supposed to work for rich white men. So the poor white people don't even count, but they think they're important, and that's cute. That's cute. But then she tried to retract this and then posted this trash apology. This is so trash. It's like people really don't understand that Black people are targeted by the police. We're targeted in the store. We can't go in the store without somebody following us. So, I mean, we just always got targets on our backs, but it's specifically Black men for some reason. So hold on. And me having had this happen to me too, like, I got pulled over for stopping at a stop sign. And thank God that I'm a smart Black girl, because he said, you know what, just forget it, just go on about your way. And I had insurance. He thought he was going to catch me slipping without insurance. He's like, do you have it or not? And I'm like, nope, I got it. Nice try, you thought. But you do have to talk to them a certain way. That part she might not have been wrong on, because it's not going to make much of a difference when you're Black. But policemen are very narcissistic and white men are very narcissistic because he's already in a position of power. And we already know when white people are in power, woo, they could do some things to you because they are already narcissistic to begin with. So when you give them that power, you just got to do what they say. Okay, I'm not saying it's gonna make a huge difference, but if you talk back and talk crazy to them and they do kill you, that's definitely gonna happen. But it's not, that does not mean it's gonna stop them from racially profiling you, but you do have to kind of talk to them a little differently. And luckily I know how to talk to people, and I didn't get ghetto and act crazy, and so thank God I was smart, because had that it went a little differently, considering the area I was in a very country area. I was coming home from my boyfriend's house. That could have been really bad. And they would have just said, well, but she would have just did what the cop told her, she'd still be alive, and it's just things like that. Like, and then somebody would justify that. And all I did was stop at a stop sign. But okay, let's go over to trash apology though. Let me look at this trash apology. Not to mention, she just randomly threw in like a Black Lives Matter hashtag. Now all of a sudden you saw Black Lives Matter. That's so cute, because I don't really be seeing like, Korean singers or anything like collabing with Black artists. For y'all to love Black culture so much, you would think, you'd want to work with Black artists, consider you're trying to be about that life yourself. It's just the action speaks so much louder than the words do. These sorries ain't gonna keep cutting it. So basically she said, I am so sorry. I saw a video clip, made an ignorant snap judgment, and I majorly messed up. It's my fault for not being more aware of how the systematic racism in the United States has continued and gotten worse since I spent the last year overseas. It's kind of funny how you didn't know that, because it's been a whole trend. So we have social media, and you mean to tell me you didn't understand? Considering you did grow up in America, with all of these innocent Black men dying and trending on social media, you didn't know? And you live in Korea, which is a very anti-Black place, and you didn't know? See, I don't know who she's trying to convince, because it ain't me. I 100% do not stand for racism and discrimination. It angers me that he was singled out because of the color of his skin. Oh, now you notice that? And now you notice that Black people are judged by the color of their skin. It's completely unjust, and I'm sorry for not seeing the whole situation and jumping to conclusions. I'm sorry for hurting you guys. See, what she meant to say was, I'm sorry that I said what I said out loud. Because what she said is what she thought. And it really wasn't what she said, it was how she said it, which already let me know how you feel about Black people. That already let me know. That already let me know. I've always stood for equality, and I've always stood for love. I believe in Black Lives Matter. See, that randomly, when it's a trend, that's nice. And I'm so sorry if I've negatively affected so many people because of my ignorance, and I will continue to educate myself. I think she needs a lot of education. I feel like she's gonna mess up again, because I just feel like this really wasn't sincere. This really didn't come from a place of ignorance. This came from a place of she knew what she was doing, but she just didn't mean for it to come out that way. Like I said, in Korea, they're very comfortable with their racism. So when we point it out, then it's a problem, because what they see is normality. And when you challenge normality, it makes people upset. For example, I had to explain to my ex that incest is not okay. He actually got mad because that was normal for him growing up. That's not normal to me. But see, it's just things like that. For one thing for sure is everybody's true colors comes out eventually. It does. It just takes time. Jay Park, I will say though, he moved a little differently with that. He has admitted multiple times he's influenced by Black culture, and he has tried to collab with Black artists. Yes, he did make a comment about Black people being closed-minded, and I kind of see what he was saying. Still wasn't his place to say though. But he also said he didn't even like Koreans, and that went left. And I think he just meant he didn't like the way that they thought. And now we're kind of seeing what he's talking about. But he actually did stand up for Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. And of all the K-pop stars that I follow, he was the only one to do that. And of course, it would have been Jay Park, so I was shocked, and I wasn't shocked because it was Jay. And all I could do was respect him because he said he cannot love black culture and not respect black people. Why is he the only K-pop star to ever say that? Why is he the only like musician I've ever seen say that? That's a problem for me for an industry that loves black music. And yes, with Jay, it's very obvious he built his career off of black culture. It's extremely obvious, but he tried to go about it in a more appreciative way. Even though he has done his dirt too, but he learned and he matured from the situation. And that's how Jay moves a little different. But why he's the only one to do that, that already concerns me. But that again, the actions speak what? So much louder than the words do. And that's why these apologies are absolute garbage. She's probably likely to say something crazy again. And you know what? You don't have to like black people if you don't want to. It is your right to like who you want to and dislike who you want to for whatever reason. The fact is, you still gotta respect people. You gotta respect their cultures, their religion. Because in K-pop, there's been a lot of times they disrespected the Muslim religion. I'm not Muslim, but it's still disrespectful to their culture because religion does play a huge part in people's culture as well. So these things have to be put in check. We gotta stop letting them slide. Stop with the apologies. If you saw Black Lives Matter, let's say some donations. You know, since you saw Black Lives Matter, all of a sudden, Lord Jesus. And the fact is, like, a lot of K-pop stars will not do what Jay did because they don't, for one, want any controversy. For two, they already anti-black, so they could give a damn less that black people are being murdered by police because it's not them. So yeah, I feel like we might have to stop supporting some of these people. Just stop giving these people platforms. Stop letting these people use our culture to get rich and famous and then disrespect us. I mean, all we asking is for some respect. That's it. Like, you want to mimic black culture, but then say something crazy about black people. And it's like, black people are actually being targeted. They're actually being murdered just for being black. And you would make such a nonchalant response like that. That I have a black brother, I always got to worry about because with black men, there's always a target on their back. Either they're purposely incarcerating them for free labor or they just murder them because the black man is so important to the black foundation, to our structure, to our economic wealth. We need two-parent households. We need our strong black men. And they know that. And that's what they're trying to keep the black man away from us. But I kind of just want to end it here because I think this is probably gonna be a lot more. I got the cover. Oh wait, I wasn't done. Hold on. I didn't even get to talk about Big Time. So Sejin, who is one of the members, I don't even care too much for this group, but I do like how to say he is so cute. But basically, so when Sejin apologized about it, he seemed like he was more interested in the food than he was in that apology. He was just like, yeah, I did it and it was not so good. This apology was trash. We're gonna add this to the list of trash apologies. He was smashing too. He was hungry. You gotta be a source. He was smashing. He's like, yeah, we did it. And it has a not so good meaning to people there. But yeah, this kimchi's so good, girl. Let me tell you. I mean, I really believe that these idols need so much education. Like, maybe not a career altogether, but just at least in the idol world, if you're going to mimic black culture, at least make them take African American studies, learn why blackface is wrong, because this is what's going to destroy your career. This is going to get in the way of your money. But maybe I feel like maybe they're doing this on purpose to get attention. Because idols are so desperate for attention sometimes because it's so hard to stick out in this industry. But then again, are they purposely doing this, like, just to slap black people on the face? Or what is their motive here? Do they feel like maybe they will get more you know, a bigger audience from disrespecting black people because they feel like everybody else doesn't like black people. So I don't know. If I could call JYP and ask like, "What's your problem?" If I could call SM and ask like, "What's the deal?" They probably not gonna tell me. But like I said, the music industry is a very shady industry. It's trash. The whole industry is trash. And that's why like the music industry doesn't make as much money as it used to. You know, because people did actually have to have talent, and I promise you, like I feel like if they weren't as good looking as they were, people wouldn't even bother with this whole industry. Let's be honest. I mean, because I've never seen too many that were so outstandingly talented, considering that I did grow up on black music and people like Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, Omarion, Michael Jackson, Prince. These are people nobody can compete with. So seeing them try to mimic people like this, it's just like, okay, it's cute. It's cute. You trying. It's cute little dance. You know, they do be dressing. I like to see what they wear sometimes. Uh, but it's like, should I even keep listening to this? Because it's like they're just gonna keep slapping me in the face, and it's like, well, now where I go? Because you know, country music, that scene, I'm not gonna ask. I left the metal scene for that reason and got back into K-pop just to deal with the same thing. Hip hop, you know, I'm not so fond of hip hop, but because I feel like it's kind of repetitive, same thing over and over, like, you know, sex, drugs, money. We get it. Black struggles, like I get it. You know, I'm black. I deal with the struggles every day. So, you know, I kind of just wanted to switch up. I like learning different languages, learning different cultures, and then you realize that culture is actually your culture. It's just translated in Korean. That's it. Uh, at that point, I just really don't know what to do. But anyway, share your thoughts, and if I missed some stuff, you can add it in there because I'm probably gonna have to make another video because it was just too much, too fast. But yeah, so you guys have a great day, and again, make sure you like, subscribe, share, add your thoughts, and turn on notification bell so when I make another video, you will first to know, honey. I'll spill the tea. And follow me on Instagram. I don't really be on Instagram that much. I don't be on Twitter that much, but you can follow me on TikTok too. I really just be on TikTok now or Instagram. That's how you really don't get a hold of me. Anyways, but thank you guys if you did make it to the end for watching this video. And I really just wanted to speak out of fact and not emotion, because at first I was very emotional about it. Because I'm just like, you know, this is really like slapping me in the face, and like black artists and other black stands. Like, it's so hard being a black stan. It was hard being a black girl into rock and roll because it's just the same concept. But yeah, you know, it's a safe place that black people can go. You know, if you can't go to Villa Noches, then where can you go? So send me and my homegirls. But anyway, I love you guys. Follow me, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter to me.